Hey, and thanks for watching our Career Day video on EMS. I'm joined today by Jen Preston, paramedic at Henderson County EMS. My name is Brad Toms. I'm the Chair of Fire Protection and Emergency Management here at Blue Ridge. Jen started the program here at Blue Ridge back in 2016, an EMS program, and graduated 2 years later in 2018 with a degree in emergency medicine. And Jen has worked full-time for Henderson County since when, Jen? How long have you been there?
Since I graduated in 2018.
Oh, great, since 2018. And now she kind of serves as the community outreach, career education representative, and we appreciate her being with us. Jen also volunteered over at Brevard Fire Department and with Transylvania Rescue Squad. So Jen, if you don't mind to tell us what kind of pulled you into EMS and ultimately led you to making a career out of it?
Well, I entered a EMT class kind of on a whim. I ended up really liking it. I had a great instructor who I really got along with. My classmates were pretty funny. So it was just a really enjoyable experience. And as I started doing my clinicals, I realized that the traditional 9 to 5 job was not something I was looking for. I was looking for something dynamic that changed every day. In EMS, you never get comfortable doing one thing because everything changes all the time. So I really enjoyed that aspect of being a paramedic and being in school also.
Great. And a lot of times that happens. We don't not sure we're going to like something, and it sounds a little interesting, and we get into the classes, and we really like it. So paramedics, along with firefighters, law enforcement, nurses, and doctors, right now we're referring to you guys as community heroes. And I know a lot of people in the job and on the job don't really look at it that way, but talk about the personal satisfaction you get and the pride that comes along with working in EMS and with helping the public each day.
You're right, Brad, but we don't really think of ourselves that way. Um, every patient, we do just what we can, and every call on every day, we're just there trying to make a bad situation a little bit better. I like connecting with different patients and their families, and bringing just at least like a sense of calm to like a bad situation. Um, I'm really humbled every day by what we do, even if we don't, make anything dramatically better, just doing what we can.
Yeah, well, and there's a big difference, I think, between and I know we talked about this in class, but what we see on TV, if we're watching like like every TV call, paramedics are rushing to save somebody's life, pull them off a cliff, pull them out of a car, restarting their heart. But the bulk of what you do on your truck is a broader scope than that. And so you really do get to interact with the families and the patients, and it's always a good thing.
Yeah, some people are just scared, and so having that calming sense just makes their day a little bit better, even if it's not a life or death situation.
Great. So talk to us a little bit about the job and what are generally the minimum benchmarks or qualifications to get hired as a paramedic?
Well, some people call us ambulance drivers, so I would like to say that first and foremost, you do need a driver's license. Um, they don't have self-driving ambulances yet, so
Amazon's not
you'll
there.
need a driver's license, your CPR card, and a paramedic certification. Um, Basically, and we might get into this a little bit later, but you can get your paramedic certification 2 ways through the continuing education program or a degree program. And once you finish all your classes in either of those 2 ways, then you'll be able to sit for your paramedic state test, and that's how you get your certification.
Great. And then talk about, I know there's in the past, there's been, like you said, there's two pathways to kind of obtain that paramedic certification. But talk about in specifically now, what's the importance of getting that degree and having that degree starting your career?
Oh, so the degree program is what I did, and I really recommend it. Sorry, what?
No, that's it. I think it was just lagging. Go ahead.
We, I got my degree, and the difference is more like submersing yourself into the program. So those 2 years before being able to get on as a paramedic are really crucial. Everything that you've learned is really going to help you once you're by yourself in an ambulance. So um, the degree program is 2 years. You have an associate's degree at the end of the 2 years, and you're able to sit with for your paramedic class. Um, and it's set up really well. So I pretty much went to school like Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a couple semesters, and then some semesters were every day. Kind of in the beginning part of the day, so I could work at night, and it was really conducive for for my schedule, being a full-time student and being able to work part-time. And then you'll do a bunch of clinicals too, especially your last semester. So the curriculum program just gives you more access to different teachers and different classes that help solidify that knowledge base in 2 years.
Good. And then talk to us a little bit about what your typical day, and I know there's usually in the fire service and EMS, a typical day is hard to come by. You don't do the same thing every day, but as a paramedic on shift, what do you expect to do when you get to work, and how does that usually look?
Yeah, so paramedics either work 12 or 24-hour shifts if they work 911 ambulance service. So I get to work at 7 in the morning, or if it's night shift, I work 12. So I either work day or night. I get to work first thing. I check off my ambulance, make sure everything is where it should be, and that everything's like batteries charged and everything on my monitor. Maybe like clean the station or do a couple little chores, eat my breakfast or my dinner, depending on like what time of day it is. And then, yeah, it's just kind of up to the call volume from there. I have little like things that I bring with me to like get done during the day if I have time. Like I can run errands if I have time, or like work out at the station. But it really, the order of everything depends on how busy we are and what the day looks like with our calls.
Good. And I think that's one thing that people usually appreciate about EMS and fire and law enforcement is there's not, you don't have a set schedule every day. It depends what happens, what's going on. Is there been an accident? Is there a call for, 911 call? And so those calls don't come in every hour. And,
Yeah,
it can be a lot different each and every single day.
yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
so besides those minimum qualifications that you talked about before, when you guys are looking for new paramedics, what type of character and personality traits are you looking for for someone to be part of your system?
I think we need people that are driven, that like want to identify different aspects of themselves that need improvement, since our job is always changing, depending on what aspect of patient care you could be better at. You need to identify that and then consistently work to improve that part. And then just working well with others. We work with first responders, so the fire department, on all of our calls. We have a partner that we're with all the time, sometimes more than we're on our own family. Our supervisor and assistant supervisor run a lot of calls with us. And then, of course, physicians and nurses that we transfer care to. So there's a lot of people on our team that make the Band-Aid box go round. And so being able to get along with all those different people and be like just a good link in the chain is really important. And then just just being able to talk to patients, and so much of our job is just like, hey, what's going on today? So able to walk into a situation and talk to people like you've known them for a long time.
Sure. So you have to be able to interface with the patient and turn around and interface with the doctor.
Yeah. Like an instructor of mine always said, keep your head on the swivel.
That sounds like some sound advice. Um, so if you don't, just if you don't mind, describe kind of the culture of EMS and that teamwork mentality that you were talking about, and the importance of that while you're on the job.
Yeah, so we're like a little family, somewhat dysfunctional, but we work holidays, days, nights, weekends, weekdays with these people. So we cook meals together, we eat together. Um, we see each other at 3 in the morning when you're not really wanting to see anyone. um, so and, especially in Henderson County where I work, we're a smaller service. Like, I'm really close with my shift. There's only like 15 of us on a shift. So if a bad call goes out, we usually hear about it. Like, we know who the paramedics are that ran it. We usually kind of hear about how it went. So we can check up on each other, or just kind of have more cognizance when we interact with each other. Like, if someone's having a bad day, we kind of know why. We don't take it personally. We understand where they're coming from. Um, that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is just having like my little work family, I guess, that I can hang out with on shift.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot of close quarters, and I spend a lot of time with people, and it is important to be able to get along and have that teamwork mentality.
And do your own dishes.
Always a sticking point. So after, and I think just to give people an idea, not everyone's aware about the continuing education that goes into some of these careers. And so just talk to us a little bit about the training and education that you do after you get hired and as you're on the job.
Yeah, sure. So the way it works at Henderson Counties, we have in-house continuing education. So I never have to go look externally for a class unless I'm just curious about it. So every Tuesday night, so once a month, we work a Tuesday night. And on that Tuesday night, we come in 2 hours early and sit through continuing education. So that's just 2 hours long, about a different subject. And then also one Thursday a month, we have continuing education. So that just helps us cover a different, like a plethora of different topics. Because obviously people don't call like 917 if they're having an OB emergency, and they don't call 916 if they're having a cardiac emergency. Like, they just call 911 and we show up for whatever it is. So we need to be aware for anything. We have to continuously train on different topics so we don't forget. And then all of our certifications like CPR, different trauma or cardiac classes, we have to keep up our certifications with that as well. But it can seem overwhelming at first. Like, when I first got hired, was really nervous about getting all my time and hours so that I didn't lose any of my certifications. But your higher ups will help you make sure you have all of that done.
Good. Yeah, it's important. And I think that's something that when people are interested in these types of careers, these public service careers, there's an expectation that you're going to get knowledge and education and skills as the job progresses. It's not a one and done after you finish school.
Yeah, definitely.
So looking at, and this video is primarily for high school students that are looking to get into the EMS field, what kind of tips or tidbits do you have for them as they're looking for a career in this area?
I would say just go for it. If you think it interests you, I think the only way to tell if it's for you is to volunteer somewhere, or start an EMT basic class and see if you like the way it makes you think. I mean, when I started, I really liked the way my EMT class made me think, and then I started volunteering at the Brevard Rescue Squad to kind of get that hands-on experience to make sure I liked it. Because it's not really a job that you can tell if you like it or not unless you just go for it. So if it's something that you're considering, I think you should just go for it. And even my classmates that ended up not becoming paramedics found exactly what they were looking for through starting, because we see so many different things. Like I have a classmate who's finishing up her nursing degree and wants to be like on the cardiac floor because she really liked cardiology.
Mhm.
So I would just say if it's something that you're interested in, seek some volunteer experience or start a class. And when you're volunteering, kind of try and ask the higher ups or the people that have been doing it a long time, just ask them questions.
Good. That is good. Good advice. Thank you, Jen.
I'm happy for
Well,
that.
thank you. And again, Jen's a paramedic with Henderson County EMS, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time. Jen was a standout student in our program, and she's continued her success and knowledge and bright personality there at Henderson County. We're very proud of her and proud to have her as a paramedic here serving our community. And students, if you're interested in this, becoming a paramedic, becoming a member of an EMS service, Blue Ridge Community College has the classes to help you do that. And we offer all those classes you need to get your certifications in EMS and be ready to enter the workforce. So thanks for joining us today in this Career Day video. Be safe and take care. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Brad.